Hey guys, let's have a little fun here. So this is documenting the way to 10,000 bucks in net cash flow, right? So this is where we're starting at today. So I'm going to pull up the property. I'll kind of give you the rundown and we'll have a pretty good time with it. This one is an interesting one. It was a property here. Let me share the screen. So I'll show you guys a few things on this, but there's a couple things I really want to point out. So this is in Athens, Georgia. So like I ended up living and buying a home. This is one of the early deals, but I ended up living like maybe a mile from this, maybe not even on Beechwood Drive there in Athens, maybe somewhere around a mile. It was super close though. It was super ironic that it was so close to where we were living. But this home was a beautiful brick sided home or four sided brick home, ranch style that has like the appeal that Athens wants and in the neighborhood that it wants. And you can see here it's got multiple different colors. It's kind of went throughout its life. But something I want to point out to you now, and this is the reason why we own or finance homes. This is like where the value comes into our buyers as well. Yes, there's value for us. That's kind of why you're seeing me document this way here to kind of like encourage you guys, inspire you guys to, look at this because what it can do for you and your family, but, not just you and your family, right? But everybody else as well. And you can take care of your parents. You can retire your parents off this stuff. But we'll go into that more later. Look at what this home is now worth. See, this is his estimate, so who the hell knows, right? Might be higher, might be lower. I don't know. But it's worth 254 grand. All right. So now let's dive into this thing. Okay. So I actually sold this to my painter, and it was a really neat deal. Was so happy to get the opportunity to sell to somebody that I knew. It's ended up happening a lot over my career, but like this is the first time that it happened. And so it was our painter. He makes a ton of money, but he doesn't have like a W two, right? But he has the cash flow to be able to support any form of payment. And so because I'm the one paying him every week to paint homes, so I knew this guy was good for it. But let's look at how this worked out. So first, I'm going to show you what I bought it for. All right, where's that one at? Cool. So right here, total loan amount was 122.5. Bought it with 5.5, or what is that, 5.75%. And here's the monthly P&I payment. They thought the property value as it sat that day, like with the that appraisal as it sat that day, it was 175. You just saw us we're 250 now. So now let's look at what we sold it for. Well, it's my purchase and sale agreement. So sold it for 179,000, 164 down. No, excuse me, 164 mortgage, 15K down. And so this came. I can't really even remember what marketing channel this came from, but I used to go home. I used to go to my buddy's house every day whenever we were first starting this business. He'd let me take his truck out because I didn't have a vehicle, and I would drive around, and I would get at least 50 driving for dollars people. Like I would do it very early in the morning at 6 a.m. He'd let me get a coffee from his home, drive his truck, and I'd go out. And so it'd only take me like 2 hours. By 8 o'clock, I had 50 homes, and then I would go home and I would handwrite him a letter, and then he would buy the stamps, so I would put the stamps on them and mail them. And I did 25 of those every day. It probably took at least like an hour. I got to where I could write a letter in like 3.5 minutes, I think, and then I just started shortening them up. But anyway, so this was a handwritten letter, I think, and just a really cool way to like this is sweat marketing at that point because it was costing me 12 bucks a day to market to people. And Sam was paying for it. So super helpful. Now, so you guys see what we sold it for, right? So good number. Let's take a look at some of the pictures of the home as it was today. Because remember, those of you that are like in this game, whenever I own or finance a home, I don't really ever do any repairs to it. Sometimes I do now to help my buyer, especially if they have a family. I'll fix the bathroom that their kids are going to use. But as far as anything else, I really don't ever like fixing anything. And so the big appeal on this one is really the location. But you can see here, like if I was selling this house retail, I mean, they would have been all over this. Continue down. I mean, it had stuff hanging in the attic, problems wrong with the floor, hot water heater didn't work. And here is their, I don't know what this was. I don't know if it was a laundry room or a spare room. It's kind of on the back side of the garage. And here's the kitchen. So, for flippers or guys in the real estate game, they'd be like, oh my gosh, it's ugly as can be. You got to fix that and this and that. No, Not on the owner financing side, guys. We supply and demand dictates what you can sell for, what you can do. And my buyers are just so happy to get the opportunity to own a home that they'll come in and they'll fix this up themselves. And so to point out why they're so happy to have that home. So Minor bought this house. When did he buy this? Is there a date in here? Almost on my birthday. So 3 years ago, he bought that home for 179K. So he owes 164 on it. It's almost went up 100 grand. So from the time that guy has bought my house, he's created $100,000 in net worth to his family. Remember, a lot of people hold their wealth in the homes. They're not like a ton of people that, we all know, or that are, they have wealth in stocks or 401ks. Like, a lot of people hold wealth in their homes, or a lot of people don't hold any wealth anywhere. And so that's kind of my reasoning for doing these videos, is like encouraging my friends, maybe some family, but like even those who don't know me that are in the real estate game, like I just would really encourage you guys to take a look at learning how to do stuff too and how to do it the right way. And so let's take a look at selling this deal. So here was the exit for me. So I already wrote this out. So I bought it for 122.5. I think I did have to, well, it doesn't matter. 122.5 interest rate. There was my P&I payment, 715. So I sold it at 719, 179. Got a 15K down payment. My mortgage was 164. Here's the payment we agreed on. I don't really ever discuss interest rate. I just discuss payment on where they need it. And so you're probably asking, what about taxes and insurance? My buyer pays taxes and insurance, guys. All I care about is principal and interest, right? I'm never going to pay taxes and insurance. So my profit on this deal, made 15 grand up front. We get paid 3 times. Made 15 grand up front, 41K note, and my monthly cash flow is 633. So I just always like pointing that out. And remember, I'm getting paid that for 30 years. And then let's say my buyer decides to refinance. Cool. I get paid this. Payday. And this is actually growing. This note is probably more like 50 grand at this point, because my interest rate's lower here than it is here. And so, guys, this will kind of close this video out. And so if you guys remember last week, we were at 384 total in cash flow. This week brings us to 633. Already did this math. So 1,017 bucks. So it's not life-changing yet, but we're starting to get there. So for those of you that have been thinking about doing this stuff, like, is this a car payment? That's a pretty nice car. Is it your rent? Is it cover half your mortgage? So on and so forth. And so the point being, guys, because at some point, a lot of the people that I work with or apprentices I have, like, their first goal is retire, not themselves. And this is why I love working with them, their spouse. That's a lot of our first goal. So think about what your guys' spouses might make if that was your goal, right? And not what they make, right? 100 grand, cool. But if you got a W-2, you're taking home 50 or 60 grand of that. So then you're looking at 4 to 5K a month that you got to take home. Maybe they only make 50K. So now you're looking at, by the time you get your paycheck, and this isn't even me saying this. This is what Robert Kiyosaki and all those other guys. You're only going to take home 50% of it. And so you make 50 grand a year, you're taking home 25 grand a year, which means you're taking home 2,500 bucks a month. So look at that. You're already halfway there. So anyway, kind of ranting now, but guys, hope you enjoyed this. Hit me up if you got questions about it. And I'm going to continue to grow this on YouTube. I'll probably start pushing it out, but like and subscribe it if you don't mind, because that helps more people see it. And so thanks, guys. Look forward to the opportunity to serve you later.